Well, just a few years ago, everyone was attempting to build a business around the apps and games they were creating for smartphones. That used to be the trend in startup land. Well, today there's a new trend in town. It's less digital and more personal. We're starting to see more and more new businesses offer creative solutions for your personal and lifestyle needs. Case in point, you just met Marissa Vicario. Her business can put you on the road to physical health. The next entrepreneur you're about to meet started a business that focuses on your health too. But this time it's your financial health. Her name is Brittany Castro, and she helps her young clients have a healthy relationship with their money. Meet the financially wise Brittany Castro.
So we'll have to figure out what that new net income number is.
I don't know if there's a way to calculate based on what I know my salary is.
I get to wake up and make a difference in my work, in the industry, with my clients, with myself, and that's just so fulfilling. My name is Brittany Castro. I am the founder and CEO of Financially Wise Women, which is a financial planning firm for women in Los Angeles. And I specialize in working with women entrepreneurs and professionals in their 30s and 40s who really want to have a partner in their financial journey. So part of my work is actually working one-on-one in private consulting with individuals. And then the other big component of Financially Wise Women is all the tools and resources that I launch for women who are anywhere, and that includes my YouTube channel. I also put out a lot of free content on my website and through my blog, and just also I do a lot of speaking around women and money and entrepreneurship. I remember talking to my college counselor and asking her about financial planning and that career, and I said, you know, this firm is offering me a position, but it's commissions, and I don't really understand how that works, you know, right out of college, just going straight to commissions and really working for yourself in that way. And she said, well, if you don't try, you're never gonna know if you like it or not. And I really just thought, okay, I'm gonna try, and turns out I was really good in that model of being more of an entrepreneur in the workplace, you know, taking charge of getting business, getting clients, making my money from day one.
So Nicole, I'll show you
I think it's extremely important to seek out mentors or coaches or cheerleaders who will root you on and really get behind you and support you with the love, the wisdom, the resources, whatever you need to embark on this entrepreneur path.
And does this change from person to person, or?
No, this is like what I recommend.
Financially Wise Women, this is Nicole speaking. How may I help you?
Something I wish I would have done earlier was have a mastermind specifically for me and my business. So currently I have a mastermind that meets monthly. Women entrepreneurs come together, there's 6 of us, and we talk about the struggles or the ideas or the roadblocks, whatever we're facing in our life and in our business, because it's often very correlated, and we get other people's feedback and opinions.
You know, there's going to be more steady stream.
When I started branding Financially Wise Women, I thought this is a great idea to niche with women and really be known for the go-to financial planner for women entrepreneurs and professionals in the Los Angeles area. But there were moments where I was just like, oh my gosh, I feel so defeated, it's not gonna work, all the self-doubts came in, and it's usually moments like those where you get those little reminders. Someone says something, a client, you know, says, I really love what you're doing, you helped me specifically with this. Or somebody reaches out and says, you know, you're like such a pioneer in the financial planning space. Last year I spoke at a financial planning conference. They flew me out to speak about building your business through social media. And I was like, oh yeah, you know, they're paying for me to fly out and speak. This is great, this is what I wanted. And after I sat on that panel with individuals I looked up to, I realized, oh my gosh, I'm one of them. And at the end, a young woman came up and she was like my groupie. She asked to take a picture with me, and she's like, I love what you're doing, I'm a financial advisor too. And I was like, oh, that feels so good. Like, I really felt like, okay, it's worked. You know, it's working and it's worked. So that's an amazing feeling.
And I wish I knew Brittany back when I graduated from college, and I'd have all that money back that I spent on Elvis collectible plates and Star Trek Signature Series mugs. Not going to happen. Welcome, Brittany, so that she can help all of us become financially wise. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big warm welcome to Brittany Castro. You would have advised that I not spend my money on that, right?
Totally. Well, if it's worth something now, you could totally sell it on eBay.
You know what? Lottery tickets, that's where it is.
Gambling, why not?
All right, Brittany, let's go ahead and dig into our next discussion, a look at what's trending in business startups. Is it personal services like those that you provide to your clients, or is it fashion and beauty, or maybe it's lifestyle or environmental issues? To add helpful insight in our discussion, we've invited an expert on the topic of what's trending in the startups arena. Our expert is Jennifer Wang. A journalist by profession, Jennifer's been researching and writing about small business startups since 2004. At Entrepreneur Magazine, she covered startups and entrepreneurship for 5 years. Today you can read Jennifer's articles in the Orange County Register, a phenomenal publication that only hires very bright, talented people, and I know because I write there too. Let's give a big warm welcome to Jennifer Wang. So Jennifer, we'll start with you, since you write for the Register.
Yes.
What businesses are hot right now?
Okay, so I think that no matter what the trend is, if you have a great product, you can make it happen, like if you have a great spin on it. But if I think about the companies that I've covered and I've talked to these great women CEOs, the things that I'm seeing them trending toward are lifestyle businesses, things that traditionally women care about, like fashion, like beauty, like food, family. So like baby products or mommy blogging is a big deal. And that's not a bad thing, you know, like some people are like, oh, what about the women engineers? And I've also talked to great women engineers who are CEOs. But I think it's because there are these great success stories right now about fashion companies that have just taken over. And they were started by young women who were in their early 20s. Best example that I can think of right now is Nasty Gal. I don't know if you guys know that. But she started when she was 22, just an eBay store. And last year, she got $40 million in like investment funding from a amazing like venture capital firm. And like now she's got her own line. Like she basically went from a garage operation to this multi-million-dollar global brand. And like when you have women like that inspiring other women to like get in on it, then that's why there's a trend.
Now, you work as a financial planner, which is a male-dominated industry. When I think of a financial planner, I think of guys that reek of Old Spice. How is it, as a young person...
I'm glad I don't smell.
And we can verify she doesn't reek of Old Spice.
Good.
How is it, as a young person, as a woman, to make it in this industry where you've got to be in the minority?
Well, originally when I started, I was 22, and I was fresh out of college in this male-dominated world. Less than 30% of the industry is women. So I actually pretended to be a man, not knowingly, but I like tried to dress a certain way, would put my hair back, because I wanted to be taken seriously. Especially as a young woman, I didn't want them to just see me as this young girl who didn't know what she was doing. And slowly and surely, like Marissa said, as I built my confidence, I started to allow myself to just shine a little bit more and just be me, because I think people want that human element. I mean, all we crave is connection. And once I really started to embrace it, it really worked for me.
About this, because a lot of deals that are done in the business world, in your world, they're not done in an office.
Where are they
They're done on the golf course,
Yes, exactly. Where
in
women
the bars.
can't go. Yes, right.
Deals happen everywhere.
Yeah.
And what do you do to make sure that you get that account that might be that the guy who you're going after might want to cut the deal, or might end up cutting a deal out on the golf course, or you know, out at a bar sometime?
You know what I did? I found the niche that worked for me. So I realized that if I was going to network, I only wanted to go to places that I would naturally go to, and I built my practice around serving women just like me, entrepreneurs, professionals in their 20s and 30s, and that way I didn't have to force myself into unnatural situations to try to get the business or close the deal.
You know, a lot of young people, they're graduating college just knee deep in debt.
Yeah.
And they don't know what a 401k is. They don't really know much about finance. What piece of advice would you give to a recent graduate?
Budget. I know it's like, sounds so easy yet hard, but the sooner you can start tracking your income and expenses, the better off you'll be long term. And it's not something you do once and then you're done. I think a lot of people think that, oh, I have my budget, great. No, you actually have to go and review it weekly, make sure you're spending in alignment with your goals and not buying collectibles that you don't need. And I think start with something small, you know, $10 every pay period into the savings account goes a long way, but those initial habits of budgeting and saving really build a foundation that you use for the rest of your life.
What percentage of one's check do you think that they should
I don't want to scare you, but the rule of thumb is you should aim to save 20% of your net income. However, 1% is good, and in America, the average savings rate right now is about 3 to 4%.
Wow.
So the goal should be 20, but as a nation, we don't save as much as we should. So even if you start with 1%, that's better than anything, and then every year you can try to increase that and gradually get to that goal.
How about the concept of pivoting?
Pivoting's huge. You have to be flexible. I think, you know, when you go into business, you have this plan. Here's what I want to have happen, and then all of a sudden things change and you have to be able to move with it. You have to be flexible, and pivoting just allows you to, maybe you start here and you pivot in a new direction, and then when that's, you know, built or when that's solid, then you go into a new direction. So being flexible is really critical to long-term success.
Sometimes that pivoting is actually the fact that you quit your your full-time gig and do this new thing. Because I think I was saying before how Nasty Gal started as a garage operation. There's plenty of instances. Like there's a company called Adafruit Industries that's very hot right now. It's like DIY, like electronic kits. And she was actually a grad student at MIT who started making these kits because people asked her, please, can you pre-assemble these kits for me? And then, you know, she started shipping them, and they just kept coming, the orders kept coming in, and then all of a sudden she was like, you know what? I'm gonna put my tuition money toward this business. And then now she's like a $10 million company.
Brittany, Jennifer, thanks so much for stopping by.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.